Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Power and Science of Money podcast, brought to you by your boy King Freeze. I got my shades on today because I feel particularly cool. Today, we're going to be talking about the free market, not the flea market. Every time I say free market, people say, why are we talking about the flea market? No, the free market, Free. What is the free market? And is it good or is it bad? Now, today I'm going to be proposing like a question. I'm not going to really give my opinion about whether I think it's good or it's bad. I'm going to pose the question to you guys and let you think about it. It's a thought exercise. Now, let's explain what the free market is. Now, let me break it down to the most simplest term like I always do. First of all, before we get into that, make sure that you like and subscribe, right? Like and subscribe, and make sure that you follow me on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, all those places. Hit up the like and subscribe button, baby. That way you make sure that you're always up to date with everything that I have coming out here. You know what I'm saying? Because can you get this information anywhere else?
Nope.
Not at all. You can only get it here, right here with your boy on the Power and Science and Money podcast, brought to you by King Freeze. Now, let's get into the free market. What is the free market? All right, breaking it down to the simplest term. Let's say I have a coin. You have a coin that I like. I have the 1950 silver bullion coin or something, and you have the 2020 American Eagle silver bullion coin, whatever you want to call it, right? You got it. I want it. You want what I got. I want what you got. We exchange, we trade right there. Bam. Free trade. Why is that free? Because it was unimpeded. We didn't have someone in the middle saying, hey, listen, I am the big government and you can only trade on every Friday and Thursday in between the hours of 6 and 12. And you can only trade 10 times a year, and if you trade more than 10 times a year, we're stepping in and we're going to fine you, or you have to roll that over to the next year. You know, that's just what the government wants. That's what that's what government regulations are kind of like. They kind of impede or interrupt the flow, the free flow of transaction in the market. That's what the free market is. But how does that work on a global scale, right? Because that's a very small scale, but it gets very detailed, and you hurt a lot of feelings depending on which side of the coin that you're looking at. So that's why I'm going to propose both sides of the same coin, because we're talking about economy. But free market has two sides. There's a winner, there's a loser, and depending on where you at in the situation, you're either winning or you're losing. So let's say King Freeze, me, I went to California, LA, and I opened up my own shoe store. I got my own shoe store. It's called King Freeze Shoe Store. I buy shoes from a local manufacturer. They make the shoes for me and they sell them to me for $10 a pair. I sell it for $40. I make a little profit. $30 profit, you know what I'm saying? And if I'm really good, I'm going to make sure I keep that relationship going and flowing, and we keep doing business. But then I start thinking, I wonder if I can make my money go longer. So then I start searching the market around the world. This is the free market, because the free market includes the entire globe: America, Mexico, Japan, everywhere. So let's say I find a company in Japan that sells the shoes, same quality, even including shipping, will only cost me $5 a shoe. Sounds like a good deal, because for every one shoe I buy in America, I can buy two in Japan, and I can double my profits. And if I'm a smart investor, which I am, I'm going to take the extra profits and I'm going to roll that retained earnings back into my company so that I can invest and become more efficient, push it into marketing, buy more shoes, expand, getting more shows, buy more stores, or hire more employees. That's what I'm going to do with my money, because you know what I'm saying? Because that's how market works. But okay, so what happens to the American store though, right? Because let's say that I was a big customer from them, right? Maybe I was their main customer. Now I just took all my business and took it to Japan. Wow. So I just put a big dent in that company, right? So what's going to happen to that company more than likely if they're not able to replace the money that they lost from me? Well, we already know. They're going to collapse and fall. And that's when you, on that side of the coin, free trade doesn't look so good, right? Now let's flip to the other side of the coin. This is where the government comes in and they inhibit free trade, or not inhibit free trade, but they put regulations onto the free trade, right? So the government comes in and says, we don't want those people in California to lose their job. So every shoe that you bring in from Japan, you got to pay a $5 tax on top of what you've already paid. So now the shoes are equal, right? And now, it's actually a little bit more of a hassle because they might be equal in value, but this store is closer. Now they're pretty much even. Is it really worth the hassle of language barrier, waiting on shipments? Multiple things can go wrong shipping it from Japan to California. So I stay with the store in America. My money stays in America. That saves those people jobs. It hurts the people in Japan, right? But this is America. The American government doesn't care about anyone outside of their little realm. They want to take care of their own, right? So my question to you is, I'm posing you, which one is right? Which one is right? One helps the company, me, King Freeze, turn a bigger profit, and I can turn that into hiring more employees, building more buildings, expanding my business. I create jobs in my area, but people over here lose their job. Or are you on the other side where you think that the government should step in and make sure that they protect American jobs? Because America first, right? Which one is the right avenue to go? That's the question that's always being posed when it comes to free trade. Now, let's flip back to the free trade market. There's nothing impeding the market, right? What would happen to the company, right, that used to sell me shoes? If they can't sell shoes to me anymore and I was their biggest customer, they're going to have to do one of two things. They're either going to have to close or they're going to have to become more innovative. They have to find something else to make, something else they can do. And that might create more jobs. They might have to retrain their current employee in workforce in order to do the new thing that they want to do, but they survive to fight another day. And the market expands and maybe they can get into something new that they never thought about doing before, right? But on the other side, on the trade, on the government coming in for trade, now most people will say, hey, that's not fair. We should be able to buy shoes from the lowest provider, right? From the lowest manufacturer. Why is the government stepping in and making it unfair? Well, this is what some people pose on the other side. They say, listen, other countries don't have the same, I guess you can say, work environment. They don't have the same stringent rules or regulations that prevent, overtime. Maybe they don't have the same labor laws. Maybe they don't have a minimum wage and things like that. So, of course, they can sell their shoes for 50% less than the American store because they have different rules and regulations that govern their employees. So those are valid points on both sides, right? One side is saying the government needs to step in because it's not truly a fair and equal ground because this country doesn't have the same labor rules and laws as America. But on the other side of the coin, someone is saying I should be able to buy the shoes for 50% discount somewhere else because I will invest it into my company and I will create more jobs. Yes, this company will lose jobs, but I'm going to create new jobs. Now, what is your stance on that? Put yourself in both of those situations. I want you to put yourself in the situation of the person, me, King Freeze, being the shoe guy, and I want you to put yourself in the situation of the shoe manufacturer in America. How would you feel? It's two sides of the same coin, right? It's two sides of the same coin. It all goes down to your reference point. There's a book that I read called Thinking Fast and Slow, and they talk about reference points. When they're talking about a situation, how one situation, the same situation, can affect two different people two different ways. Boy, I'm sweating up in here, man. It's like a sauna up in here. Whew. Good God. Whew. Oh, God dang. Had to give myself a little breeze there. But shout out to the horns, King Freeze. Now, it's two sides of the same coin. And in this book, they're talking about, you have, let's say, a scenario. You have a bowl full of water and ice. You have a bowl on this side that's warm. And you have a bowl in the middle that's room temperature. Now, you put your hand in the hot one. You put your hand in the cold one, you leave it there for a minute, and you take your hands out, and then you put both of the hands in the middle bowl that's room temperature. Now your two hands are going to experience two things. One hand's going to experience warmth, and the other hand's going to experience coolness. They both are in the same environment, but they're affected differently because of their previous reference points. And that's how it works down when it comes to the free market. The way that you view the free market is the way that you view it from whatever reference points that you're coming from. If you're coming from the reference point of a business by the free market, then you look at it negatively, right? So we have to think about our reference points and how it affects us and how it affects others. But I want you all guys to go home and actually think about that. Think about that. How do you feel about a free market? How do you feel about minimum wage? You know what? This isn't really part of the subject of free market, but let's talk about minimum wage a little bit. Now, some people, opposing sides, let's think about the opposing sides again. One side says there should be a minimum wage regardless of where you are. Every state in America, every city in America should have to go by a certain minimum wage because it's just right. And then on the other side, you have people saying, no, this is a free market and I should be able to pay people what I want. Now, the biggest arguments that I've heard on both sides is that the people that are for minimum wage that are against free market will say, well, if we don't have a minimum wage, you would just pay your employees whatever the hell you want, right? And then you have the people on the free market side will say, no, that's not necessarily right, because if I don't pay my employee the right wage, another company will come and pay them a better wage, and then they will leave. So I have to compete. I have to raise my wages up to match the competition, right? But on the other opposing side, these are all good points, by the way. On the other side, they will say, the people that are against free trade will say, no, what if all the companies get together and say, hey, we're going to pay everybody this flat rate. No one go higher than that. That's a good point. But the counterpoint or counter debate or counter question, or the counter to that from the other side, they will say, well, that doesn't make sense because this is a capitalist society and everyone's in it for their own selves. So even if somehow all the vendors got together and said, we're all going to hold the line and we're all going to pay X amount of dollars, no matter what, nobody will jump ship because we're all paying the same. There will always be one person that will come from the outside and say, I'm not part of that deal. I think that deal's stupid. I'm going to pay your workers $4 to $5 more than what they're making there, and they're all going to leave you. So you're going to have a brain drain from your organization. So there's valid points on both ends. And that's why it's a big debate in America. It's a valid point on both ends. Also, there's a book called The Wealth of Nations by Adam Smith. Wonderful book. You really need to check that book out. If you're into economy, if you're into money, you really need to check out Wealth of Nations by Adam Smith. Check it out because he poses one particular thing in his book. Woo, God dang, hold up. Shout out the horn. Woo! Shout out the horn to Satan sitting in the next room or something. I can't turn the AC on because if I turn the AC on, y'all will hear it all in the mic. So I try to turn off the AC. But it's the small price that I do to suffer out there just for you guys. Then that's why you're going to like and subscribe everything on my page because you can't get it nowhere else. Are you going to get this information anywhere else like I said before?
Nope.
No, you're not. But like I was saying, so in the book, they say when people are desperate for jobs, like let's say on the countryside, he brings up the subject of the countryside. He said there's a farmer or a store in the countryside where jobs are scarce and there's too many people and not enough jobs. In that society, the employer can pay people less because they're scrambling for jobs. And people will naturally start competing against each other to get the job. So you might raise your hand and say, I will do it for $15 an hour. And the other person say, no, I'll do it for 14. Other person 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. until everyone's just like, I can't go lower than 6. And then the guy with 6 gets hired, right? But he brings it to the city. In the city, there's not enough jobs. I mean, there's enough jobs, not enough people. So at that point, to get all the qualified people, you need to start competing with the other companies to get the employees. See how the roles have reversed? So in the city, most people get paid more than those in the country because of the bargaining stance of each situation. In the country, the manufacturer or the employer has the advantage because there's too many people, not enough jobs. But in the city, there's not enough people, too many jobs. And you want the brightest, you want the best and the brightest. So you start competing with your competitors. If they say they'll pay you 15, or I'll pay you 20, so on and so forth, until you reach an equilibrium to where I can't go any higher than that. And that employee either accepts that job or does not accept that job. And that's how it ends up working out. So is it fair? I guess that would be my second question. Is it fair to propose an across the board minimum wage across the entire country, regardless of the economical or employee and employer's needs based on their situation of where they're at? If I'm in the country, do I really need to pay people $15 an hour? If I don't generate that much business, do I really need to hire someone for $15 an hour? That's the second question that I guess you can be given. But I think that's all the time I have today. I think I've been on here for I think about 18 minutes. I don't know. I've been on here for a while. But I try to keep these things in between 10 and 20 minutes. So we're going to get up out of here. In the next episode, we're going to be talking about productivity. We're going to be talking about productivity and credit, because productivity and credit are tied together. And I'm going to explain, I will give my opinion on that episode about productivity versus credit. What they call it? Spoiler alert, I'm all about productivity, not credit. All right. Anyway, thank you for hanging out with your boy, King Freeze. Right here with the Power and Science of Money podcast. And make sure that you always come and like and subscribe on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, Instagram, everywhere. I need y'all support out here so I can keep cranking out these episodes. I need y'all love out there. I need y'all to let me know that you're feeling what your boy is giving out. You know what I'm saying? Because can anybody do it better than your boy?
Nope.
Exactly. That's what I thought. Well, anyway, whoa, that came in a little hot. Coming in hot. All right, I'm tripping. All right, anyway, until next time, this has been your boy King Freeze, and this is the Power and Science of Money podcast. And until next time, peace. Where the camera at?